This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose: helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that: help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to help you become financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
Grand Rising. Hopefully everyone's doing well this rising. Hopefully everyone had some great rest. And I'm sure everyone's been paying attention to what's been going on in the community from the standpoint of videos and response videos. And yeah, it's like a diss track fest. Artists calling artists out and stuff. So, how's everybody doing?
I'm good. Grand Rising, everyone. PC, Grand Rising TMA, Grand Rising Gabby.
Grand Rising Bones, Grand Rising TMH, Grand Rising everyone.
Oh, and just to clean something up real quick, the recordings that we have, so there'll be no more confusion about them, are the recordings from the old Tribe Up governance meetings to where everybody know they were being recorded before the meeting started. We have no secret recordings of anyone without their knowledge. Only recordings we have are the ones from the old governance meetings. So there's no more misunderstanding on that.
Right. We don't record anybody without their permission. Y'all know me. If I'm gonna record you, I promise you, I'm gonna let you know. Cause I want you to know that you're being recorded. I don't do none of that sneaky stuff. That ain't the way we operate. That's not the way I operate. So I think some people in the community are getting a little bit skittish because they think people are having secret recordings. If there are any secret recordings, A2 and members of A2 had absolutely nothing to do with those recordings. These recordings, which are 24 hours worth of recordings, only deal with the Tribe Up governance call when Tribe Up and Tribe Up News, aka A2, were trying to get governance and trying to get the community information and trying to get the YouTubers paid without having to get money from the community. And if someone had asked yesterday if you could share those videos, yeah, just send a link to the people, whoever you want to send them to, and also you can have them register on the website so they can get more information. And if they have anything they want to share, they can add it to the form, and also it'll help them with genealogy, especially if they're your family. So yeah, please by all means share the information. And there are 8 videos, and the videos average in between anywhere from 2 to 4 hours in length. So hopefully that answers the question. And again, what you'll see when you watch those and listen to those is you'll actually see who did what and who knew what. So hopefully that helps you out, and hopefully that answers your questions.
And again, moving forward, any shots anybody want to send or subliminal messages, it doesn't even matter. We have a phone number, it's on. People got a question, they can call and ask. I mean, it's just that simple. But all that foolishness is going on, my honest opinion, let it burn down. So if their hands dirty, get out the way so we can get back to building and keep building.
I mean, people gonna take shots. That's what people do, because that's what this community is all about. In some retrospects, and they're not used to dealing with stuff going live. If you know what it means, I liken it to hip hop beefs of the 80s. It didn't get real until somebody took it away from the booth and took it to the streets. Then all of a sudden, people got scared, because as long as it was on wax, it was cool, and as long as it's on YouTube, it's cool. The problem is people don't realize that there are mechanisms and means for people to find you. And what's happening is people starting to come see people, and then those people that talked all that smack are getting ghosts. What you got to realize is not everybody is on, I guess for lack of a better term, not everybody is on paper. Not everybody got a federal case, and a lot of people got passports, and a lot of people ain't scared. So, you can take shots at me all day long, but like I always tell people, y'all know my address, I don't know y'all's. So who really scared? So, but it's too early for invitations this rising. So you can take shots at me all day long, but you won't come visit me. Oh, I'm sorry, was I not supposed to say that? And as y'all know about the videos, I've been saying the same thing then that I'm saying now. So ain't nothing changed about me. Not a word, not a thing.
Same OG.
And I said it then and I say it again. If it makes us the bad guys for wanting to do right by our people, to making sure that nobody scams our people, to making sure there's structure and governance set up so once our time is gone, this can keep running and running and running and running. If that makes us the bad guy, I wear that label proudly. Let's go.
Because at the end of the day, people gonna take shots, but you notice that we're the ones only showing receipts, and we got more receipts for you. Everybody that's got the big mouth, we got receipts on YouTube. So keep talking. We just gonna make a video. We just gonna make a video out your life too. So, you know. So that's pretty much what's up. So yeah, man, that's what's going on. It's been a great rising. It's been a great evening. Yesterday was cool. You know, everything is everything, right? So let's go.
I got a chance to listen back and see how much we really gave away.
Yeah, everything. I mean, nothing was hidden, and you told everything. And people are starting to hear or starting to realize that who's telling the truth, who's creating narratives, and who's not. Again, we've been saying the same thing since the beginning. We haven't changed our stance on anything. That's why receipts are always beneficial, because when someone ever calls your character into question, you pull out receipts and you shut everything down.
Shut it down.
So, you know, it is what it is. So, anybody that don't have receipts and you still bopping them, buffing them, bumping them, what do you call it, bumping them gums, you got receipts on you too. Emails, you know, all that. So grand rising, everyone. I want to say peace and grand rising to, of course, we got Can't Get Right coming in late. Just won't do right. Anyway, like I was saying, grand rising on sell out.
Right.
Double cousin.
All I heard was "won't do right," so I don't know if you still messing the name up.
Don't you know no good?
Exactly.
Michael Brown Harris hit it right on the head. And by knowing that there, it'll show you what the real problem is that we're standing on the mechanism to where the everyday Indian that's trying to learn who he is does not have to come out of his or her pocket to do it. That's the problem. That's the elephant in the room. Make no mistake about it. That's the elephant in the room.
So the conscious community is selling knowing thyself? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so
I mean, it's straight to the point. That's what it is.
So in order to know thyself, you have to pay me.
Who are you? What did I come into? Grand Rising, y'all. Peace to the chat.
We just talking about the video. We're talking about the evidence. We're talking about the receipts that's been dropped. It's got some people nervous. And as you know, some people said last night, hit dogs are hollering.
And it's not about bullying. It's not about none of that. At the end of the day, it's about our future. It's about right and wrong. And if we want the world to start taking us serious, we got to take ourselves serious. That we can't have this foolishness representing us. That has nothing to do with the individual. It has to do with the future of the American Indian. I mean, the one thing that I realized going through this with my brothers and sisters, and I'm so grateful, it shows me what happens if we don't check ourselves. Because the more and more we go through this, yeah, we know the Europeans did their part. But to be honest with everybody, I'm more pissed at the Indians. at my own people for what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So what that tells me is, in order for us to fix this situation, I gotta fix the wrongs within my people, my community, my circles. Not saying that I'm better, but if something wrong, if you don't address it, it makes you no better than the wrong. You just as guilty.
If not worse.
And how can we keep saying Indios, the children of God? That ain't godly. That ain't spiritual.
These are children of dog. I know that.
I don't know. I mean, it's just crazy.
Because at the end of the day,
it's no. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Kim.
no, you good. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
It's no different than what we seen in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s. The same shuffle, just repackaged up. I ain't buying.
And so at the end of the day, here's what it boils down to. You can name call all day long, you can make innuendos, and you can insinuate stuff. But unless you got proof, what are you talking about? It's no different than quoting something and having no sources. It's the same thing. It's easy to quote something that you've read or something that you've thought you heard, but you don't give people the opportunity to make their own decision when you don't provide the source or the proof. So basically means you are the one discerning whether we're smart enough or intelligent enough to determine if what you're saying is true or not. And that's not fair to the chat. That's not fair to the public. That's not fair to the people. So if accusations are going to be made, information is going to be spoken, then at least provide the source and the proof. So, it's one of them situations to now where people want to claim they want to be first. How about being first to show proof? How about being first to show sources? How about being first to show recordings? I mean, you could be first in that. Because we not first in any of this. We the new kids on the block. We the Johnny come latelys. We didn't invent none of this. Quite honestly, neither did you. Because you weren't here when the Balaam was here. You're the descendants of them, some of you are. So for you to be banging your chest about who said what, who did what first, it's kind of juvenile. That's just my personal opinion. Because it's not about who's first. Because again, like I said, if we want to talk about what we did that was first, we also have to talk about the atrocities was first. You was first with the information. But that also means you was first not to do something with the information. That also means you was first to start charging people for the information. That also means that you was the first to start scamming, or you the first to stand by and let other people get scammed. So if you want to claim first, then you got to claim first for all that, because there's proof of all that too. So something to think about.
And again, this is not a diss, this is not a shot. This is reality. Again, if this is our future, our lives, and I'm talking to the American Indian, then we willing to clean up our neighborhoods, all of our neighborhoods. We got to be willing to address the things that keeping our conditions the way they are. We got to be willing to address the people that have a platform, that the people built, because the people show up to make the platforms what it is. And just like here, if we was misrepresenting the people, I would expect the same to happen. Because that's a responsibility that you take. When people listen to the words that come from your mouth and watch your actions, and you can't take that responsibility lightly. And when that responsibility is used to put the whole community in a bad light, it got to be addressed. I mean, we want to play self-sufficient, or are we going to be self-sufficient?
Self-sufficient means you self-govern, you self-police. You self-correct. That means you correct your community, you correct those around you, and you police your community, and you police those around you. Somebody is doing wrong, you say something. First, you say something to them, you pull them to the side and say, hey, I don't think that's right what you're doing. You might want to stop that. And then if they don't stop it, then you say something out loud. And you expose it, shine that light on them cockroaches that's dirtying up your neighborhood, that's muddying up the waters, that's selling land to the colonizers, or diverting attention away from the truth. Allowing individuals into the community that don't belong into the community. I mean, all that is what our ancestors were guilty of. And like I said before, none of our ancestors are innocent. All of our ancestors have been guilty at some point in time. But the beautiful thing about this is we have the opportunity to get it right, atone, and move forward. And just like that, this opportunity represents and stands for everything. Everybody has an opportunity to self-correct. And even if you choose not to self-correct and it's been brought to your attention that you're wrong and it's been proven that you're wrong, you still have the opportunity to self-correct. That's the beautiful thing about this. Again, like everybody else, I got skeletons in my closet. There's stuff that I've done that I'm not proud of or pleased of. So I, by no stretch of the imagination, am claiming to be a perfect individual. I've made my share of mistakes, a whole bunch of them, got a rack of them. But at the end of the day, I'm not walking around here like I don't have any skeletons in my closet. I'm not walking around here like I haven't made any mistakes. So when it's all said and done, again, it's about getting right. I'm not concerned about being right. The problem is people are acting as if they want to be right and they're not concerned about getting it right. So this is just the first series of receipts to be dropped. So you want to keep barking? You want to keep banging your chest? Receipts on you gonna be dropped next. So that's all I got for that.
And it's funny though, it's December 2020 around the corner. People keep talking about unity and uniting and this and that. Wouldn't it make sense? There should be a overwhelming push on educating our people on the census, educating them on the importance of genealogy. But I guess people need the drama to get them super chats going. I mean, I'm gonna call it how it is. Foolishness. It's no different than the same people that they claim that they mad at. But what are they really mad at? They mad that they ain't getting a piece of the pie. Relatives, I know we all feel enough is enough. And if we want change, then we make it change. And it's not going to be everybody. But that handful that get it, that's all it's going to take. And we keep putting this together. This is just the start. One of many to come. And it's just showing people in real time what we can do together as brothers and sisters. What we can do together when we put our genealogy on the table and take the time out to find out who we are so we have a better picture on where we're going. It shows that them same skills that we learned along our way, that we can bring them back home to our communities. And we can use it to rebuild our communities, to teach our children. The only thing that stops it is us. No magic borders, no magical words. It's the choice to want to act towards being better. The choice to act towards building a better future. (2020) isn't that far away. So those who can hear, let's make sure that we leave our mark on the end of this year. That we made sure we tried to inform as many as possible. Can't make no one accept, but inform as many as possible. On the importance of the 2020 census, the importance of your genealogy. There's always going to be foolishness. There's always going to be drama. I say this time, let's choose to just squash it and rise above it. And how we squash it, we turn it off. We don't give it our energy. We don't support. I promise you, relatives, we can complete this. But we got to make sure the foundation is correct. Because if the foundation is solid and correct, it doesn't matter what happens moving forward. You can always go to that stable, solid foundation and rebuild. But if we allow the foundation to be built crooked, it doesn't matter what we do in the future with it, it will always be crooked. Being an Indian, knowing your tribe, is more than just a name, some garments, a language. It's the responsibility that you take on once you realize who you are, once you learn. It's the responsibility to fix the things of your family, to correct the mistakes. We all have them. None of us are perfect. But by us taking the time out to find out where we come from, to fix the damages, do you realize how we help each other? Because through genealogy, you will learn that a lot of us tie into each other. TMA said it all the time. Your enemies are based on what they're doing to you today. Right now, today. So just because we descended from two different tribes, it does not mean that we can't work together today. We all come from different tribes, but we all are one. But we can't be one until we know who we are. When I mean one, I don't mean everybody getting along, because that's never going to happen. It's not supposed to be that way. When I mean one, the American Indians, the Indios, realize we got to fix our tribal differences, fix the problems, fix the things we did wrong, so we can come together and unite. But tribes can't unite together if there's no unity within that tribe itself. There's never going to be a utopia. It's not meant to be. But what we can build, our society, to where we take on a responsibility for teaching our children, where we take on the responsibility of growing and supplying our food, where we take on the responsibility of taking care of our elderly, our sick, We take on the responsibility, making sure in the American Indian community, no one is homeless. We take on these responsibilities. This is how we, Indios, will change the world. Because we can show everyone how it can be done. It's easy to sit back and be like, we were chosen. So I asked, chosen to do what? Sit back and watch everything fall apart? Or chosen to rise above it and build something great? Reading our past about how great we was, it hurts sometimes, because you know why? I feel like we let them down. Because what they left us, why we're not doing it now. What's good at looking at pyramids and ancient structures that were built that we can't build a school? We have homeless brothers and sisters. That should be the reminder of our responsibility. Ancestors didn't build big houses for 3 people to live in it. They built big structures for a whole community to live. This is what we should be seeing. They didn't have farms for just one to eat. They farmed for a whole community. That's the greatness of our ancestors. That's the love, the understanding, the compassion. That's what they took from us and gave us consumerism. If we're going to remember anything, let's remember our responsibilities to our community, to our elderly, to our children, to our societies.
At the end of the day, we either gonna do something, or we gonna do nothing. Time for talk is done. Time for action. So let's get it.
Some time for some action.
So peace to the chat, peace to the panel, peace to the Autochthonous Assembly Silent Majority, peace to the people that have just registered to the website, which is free. Doesn't cost you a dime. You don't have to use a PayPal account. You don't have to use Patreon and all those things to get access to this information, because we're not charging you for anything, because we are a 501c organization. And
you back to bragging about what kind of car you drive again.
No, I'm not talking about that C3 Mercedes, because I said 501c. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I gotta set the record straight for something. Because apparently,
man, what I did?
Somebody is under the impression that there is only one type of 501c organization, which basically means we, and when I say we, I mean me, did not do a good job in those videos for that whole week breaking down nonprofit organizations.
Man, didn't we go through all of them though? I thought you did a good job.
Every last one of them, bro. Apparently,
I know there's like 4 or 5 of them I can use right now.
Apparently, somebody missed the videos. So I'm gonna put this. You're so funny. I'm gonna put this link in the chat, because proof is not a problem over here. We just don't make blanket statements and ask people to trust us or claim that we're using data to see who's checking on the internet because we claim we own Google. So there was an erroneous statement made.
On Google?
No, not on Google. There was an erroneous statement made yesterday in reference to 501Cs. So I'm going to correct it because, you know, it is what we do. We correct errors. And I am by no means error free. Y'all have heard me come on the show and correct my own errors. Or when I have been corrected, I come back and correct those errors. So this is not me taking a shot. This is me correcting an error, especially when it comes to for-profit and non-profit organizations. So, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, boys and girls of all ages, if you would so oblige me as we take a look at the screen so we can correct some things. And I will share my screen with you as we get this right. It's not going to take much time. I promise I won't be using the brakes. So, all right. This is Wikipedia, and it didn't come out right. So let me just go ahead and type this in so y'all can see me. Let me do this. And this information can be verified and validated on the IRS.gov website and any other website that talks about nonprofit organizations. Where we at? Okay, so that's breaking out that's breaking out nonprofits. We have to do a show on that too. There we go. So, let's break down what a 501c is, shall we? Because there are different nomenclatures for 501cs. There are over 44 different nonprofit, aka 501c organizations. And I'm only 44. So, a nonprofit organization in the federal law of the United States, according to Section 501c, which is where it gets its name, and is one of over 29 types of nonprofit organizations exempt from some federal income taxes. Section 501(3) through 505 set out the requirements for obtaining such exemptions. Many states refer to Section 501c for definitions of organizations exempt from state taxation as well. 501c organizations can receive unlimited contributions from individuals, corporations, and unions. This is important, and you'll see why it's important when we start getting to certain 501cs. For example, a nonprofit organization may be tax exempt under 501c3. It is a primary activities are charitable, religious, educational, science, library, testing for public safety, fostering amateur sports competition, preventing cruelty to children, and preventing cruelty to animals. So here's the thing. You have the 501c3, right? And then, remember the conversation I had about HUD Section 3? So if there's a HUD Section 3, there's got to be some numbers before HUD Section 3 and some numbers after HUD Section 3, right? Meaning there's a HUD Section 1, a HUD Section 2, a HUD Section 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 10, correct? So if there's a 501c3, one would stand to reason there's probably a what? 501c what? 1 through whatever number, correct? So let's go down here and look, boys and girls. And what do we have here? We have 501c1 all the way through 501c29.
So what does that mean?
So what that means is when people hear the word 501c, they automatically reduce it or assume that's a 501c3. Just like when people hear HUD, they automatically think Section 8. That in itself, boys and girls, is indoctrination.
Yep.
What is
And matter of
indoctrination?
fact, what are the different organizations under just the 501c3? Because a lot of people think it's just a church.
Oh my gosh, there are national farm loan associations, there's credit unions, there are title holding corporations, there are exempt organizations, there are public safety and fostering national, international, and amateur sports competitions, there are civic leagues, there are social welfare organizations, there are local associations of employees, there are local agriculture and horticulture organizations. Go ahead, what you got?
Well, you just said, let me make sure I was hearing you right. Sports competitions?
Yeah.
NAACP, Olympics, yeah. Amateur sports, that's all.
NFL?
Hold on. Yeah. 501c6.
NFL is nonprofit, yeah.
Yeah. So hold on. There's business leagues. Wait a minute. You can mean businesses can have nonprofits? Wait, what? There are chambers of commerce, real estate boards, social and recreational clubs, fraternal organizations.
Fraternities, nonprofits.
Volunteer Employee Benefit Association, domestic fraternal societies, teachers' retirements, benevolent life insurance association, mutual ditch and irrigation companies, mutual and cooperative telephone companies, telephone companies, not to be confused with Telephone Man, that was written by New Edition and sang by Bobby Brown.
Telephone Man.
You have cemetery companies,
Nonprofit.
mutual insurance.
Yes, your water, your electric, your insurance companies, banks, financial institutions, nonprofit.
Group legal service plans, veterans organizations, real property title holding corporations and trusts with multiple parents,
Nonprofit.
railroads, reinsurance.
Nonprofit.
So for those with a high business acumen making erroneous statements, let me educate you right quick, because the statement was made in a laughing manner, mind you, as if they already knew that 501c's cannot participate in politics.
Uh-oh.
Hit him with the heat.
The her and the we. So let's go down this road, shall we, boys and girls?
Let's do it.
For you.
501c3. 501c4, which is right below the 501c3.
Things that make you go,
So let's click on this link and see where it takes us. Boop. 501c4 organization. So let's do some reading, shall we? 501c4 organization is a social welfare organization such as a civic organization or a neighborhood association, An organization is considered by the IRS to be operated exclusively for promotion of social welfare if it is primarily engaged in promoting the common good and general welfare of people of the community. Net earnings must be exclusively used for charity, education, recreational purposes. According to the Washington Post, the 501c4 organizations are allowed. Here we go. Y'all ready?
oh my goodness.
Are allowed to participate in politics so long as politics do not become their primary focus. What that means in practice is that they must spend less than 50% of their money on politics, so long as they don't run afoul of the threshold. The groups can influence elections, which they typically do through advertising.
Bingo. 49.9% of their total finances they bring in can be spent on politics.
Allowed activities. 501c4s are similar to 501c5s and 501c6s. And the organizations may inform the public of controversial subjects and attempt to influence legislation relevant to its program. And unlike a 501c3, organizations, they may also participate in political campaigns and elections as long as their primary activity is the promotion of social welfare and related to organizations' purposes. So what was that? So 501c aren't allowed to participate in politics when you have a 501c4, 501c5, and a 501c6 that does. And the best example that I can give you of a 501c that participates in politics is the NFL, which is a $25 billion nonprofit. Don't believe me?
You proved your point.
Do your research.
You heard me?
So I just wanted to correct that mistake, which could have easily been looked up. But when people run their mouth and don't provide any proof and want to throw shade, again, you play a business owner on YouTube. I am a business owner in real life. Holla at your boy.
Peace.
Okay.
What you were saying, Gabby?
I'm just saying, I wanted to wait for him to drop the mic. I was trying to be funny, but the thing got hot.
Proof ain't a problem. Proof ain't a problem over here. You are recorded coming to me and Bones for business advice. But yet you're gonna attack my business acumen. You are recorded coming to me for business advice, but you're gonna attack my business acumen. There is no recording of me asking you for advice ever. Ever.
Ooh.
So
One may have good eyes and yet see nothing.
I keep telling people I ain't the one to play with. You know. What's going on? James Flames, aka Doodle Brown, aka Choctaw Jimmy. What it do, bro?
James Doodoo Brown.
Greetings, brother Thomas. Greetings, sister Gabrielle Union. Greetings, brother Bones. Yeah, I'm in my mobile office this morning, so I apologize. I know if brother No Skull than not. But yes, I know that you all were really just listing off a lot of these and that's what people don't realize. All these political pacts that you see on TV when all these commercials coming up next year, where you starting to see them now? All these different organizations that have office at local level, state level, and federal level. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm on the road here. But yeah, all those are your nonprofits. You got people talking about, we were talking about the census, and then you have people, so-called supposed to be Indians, telling people not to be counted. But then they're supposed to be using the census to do their genealogy. I still have not figured that out.
James, I'm glad you said that. Could you say that one more time? Because I thought I was the only one that heard that.
No, they tell you no. Don't be counted, but count.
Don't be enumerated.
What?
Indian not taxed.
Yeah, don't be counted. But you're supposed to be using it, and if this doesn't tell you the fraudology, and yeah, that's a word now because I just made it up. The fraudology of some of these people when they tell you don't be counted, but you're supposed to be using the census to find out who your people are. Come on, son.
They claim the status Indian non-tax. Tell me what the other 4 classes are. There's 5 classes of Indians.
Wow.
The majority of us, our status is urban Indian. All you got to do is look it up. It's an actual status.
Don't do that. You ain't supposed to do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
So they going in and half-cocked making statements.
You know what, though? Here's the crazy part. The Indians not taxed were counted.
Yes, they were.
Oh, no.
I have the documents in the book showing they were counted. They were counted.
Oh, man.
And to close it all off, I done mentioned the 2 acts that summed it up already. The Snyder Act of 1924 and the Indian Reorganization Act of the Snyder Act of 1924 Indian reorganization is 1934. It made all Indian citizens. 1924. Look up the Indian Citizens Act. All Indians got reclassified. Their status got changed from American Indian to Native American, making you a citizen. That's the name of the act.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is people just talking out the side of their neck just for the moment.
Listen, it's okay to read books. But like we said before, if you're not looking up the acts, the actual act, you're going to have a problem. Because these acts is what the laws are based off of.
Say it again for the people in the cheap seats. Say it again so they can hear you. Because you know they're listening. Go ahead. Say it again. Say it again.
The acts are what law is based off of.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me that the only reason Byron Allen had to go to court with Comcast is because there had not been a law developed based off of the 1866 Act? Is that what you telling me, partner? Is that what you saying?
Exactly. The Supreme Court had to hear it to see was they in violation of the act so a law can be created to prosecute them. They seen the reason. Now they're drafting up a law for it.
Interesting.
What plagues me is you can find court records, Supreme Court records, District Court records, showing that we as Indians were going to court. When did it switch to not go to court? And I don't mean go to court as a defendant. I'm talking about go to court as the one that is filed the suit to go to court. To now we just protesting on the outside of the courthouse. When did that switch? I'm still trying to figure that out. As Indians, non-tax Indians, that they say weren't counted, but were counted, we're taking the U.S. government to court. When did it change?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's a great question, though. It ones that deserves answering or some proof being provided, but yeah, I guess we're one of the few channels where proof is not a problem, and for everybody else, proof is a problem. So I don't know. We could be wrong.
You know what I figured out though? When they say don't be counted, because the core word, again, the killer and the bee, big words are made up of little words. You cannot have accountability without counting. That's the problem. They don't want to be counted because they don't want to have any accountability for what they do and for the reckless actions that they're putting forth and the things that they're telling people. And what they're doing is they're listening to the Cavs Grand Rising show and say, you know what? I don't like those fools over there, so I'm just gonna take the opposite stance. Not doing any research, not doing any homework, and then they want to follow the opposite of, oh, let's all just get together, let's all unite. No, I'm not uniting on a pile of food. I'm doing them vision for a reason. I think through your mess. I yield the mic.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all remember that time period about 2 or 3 months ago when everybody in their organizations were bigging each other up and saying that they weren't, the people's names that they were calling weren't scamming, so forth and so on and so forth and so on. And the scammers and the neutral people that were dealing with the scammers were big up in each other. So you got the scammers big up in each other, and then you got the neutral people that were scammers big up in each other. And the one name that they wasn't calling was A2, and the reason why is because they know we got receipts. You're not gonna call A2 because you know we got receipts. Our name's not gonna come out your mouth because you know we'll drop a receipt in a minute, and that will ruin you. Yeah, I said it. You don't call our names because you scared. Just like you scared on white folk. You scared. Just like you scared on courts. You scared. Just like you scared to leave your state. You scared. And I'm not saying you scared of me. You scared of the receipts because I'm no one by no stretch of the imagination to be scared of. But the people you scared of me. That's all I'll say about that. So you can take your little shots if you want to, but I just please ask you that you provide proof. Again, we can drop 24 hours of proof on that behind. Where's your? Be waiting.
It's a little early for shots, so I don't know.
No, it's not. Cause these shots don't come in a 2-ounce shot glass.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere there.
These shots are verbal. They resonate. Try to be nice. Try to be polite. Try to be cordial. That don't work. So now y'all got to pay. And I don't mean pay as in pay me. I mean pay as in pay for the stuff that y'all done in the dark. The lights and came on, now the roaches are scattering. And y'all scared. Cause now y'all telling on each other. Got Coach and Bones implicated himself that ain't got no business being implicated in. So yeah, keep taking them shots. One of your emails gonna come up. It's gonna be part of Ain't Television.
And to the girl backstage, to the girl in the back that put out the GoFundMe link. Never mind who you thought I was, and I know that the kid really shows, so I'm gonna leave it rated G. Never mind who you thought I was. Why you sending out the GoFundMe link? You want somebody to fund your car? What? Come on, son. But they don't want to put together, don't want to organize to build your nonprofit. I don't understand that. But then you want to put a GoFundMe link, any amount of help. Come on, son. I see you.
Come fund me. Well, go fund me.
Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're one of the few organizations that are not asking for money from the community. Interesting.
One of the few.
One of the few. I'm not saying we're the only. I'm just saying one of the few.
One of the few.
Everybody else is asking for some. No, go ahead. Go ahead, James. You good?
I'm sorry for going off on my tangent, but you all mentioned something earlier. Sports organizations. I coach summer track. Summer track is big money, especially here in the state of Texas. You gotta look at all the track athletes, all the football athletes that come from primarily 2 states, or 3 states, but primarily these 2 are always bound. Florida and Texas. Summer track and what we call AAU programs are huge. It is a multi-million dollar, tipping on $1 billion organization, and that is amateur sport. These are high school. These are elementary school, middle school, and high school kids. It is big. Summer track is big money. Come on, son. And that is a non-profit. When you mention about these athletes, why do you think they do what they do? You think people like LeBron James is putting up on the scene? That he was groomed. It's big money.
Yep.
Man, I gotta go. I'm out of here. Y'all go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
no.
had any sleep. Thanks to brother no sellout. I've had no sleep. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
My bad.
Ain't nobody doing that. Anyway, shout out to the best chat on earth. The best chat on the earth. Go ahead.
It's not really pimping the kids, because in some of these organizations, they actually do help. What we're pointing out is that there's other people outside of us that's building these organizations in our community. And the way it works is they're providing a service to us. All we're saying at A2 is, imagine what happens when we form the companies and we start providing the services to our community. Then it changes. Because now through that, we can make sure that these funds rotate 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 times in these communities before it leaves out. Because now what you're doing, you're building self-sufficient communities to where, imagine, each community has its own farm, own ability to produce its own food, that goes to its own store, that's hiring people from that community. You need people to package it. You need people to prepare it. You need people for water sources. You need people for electricity. And these are the things that we're trying to show. And it's not that we own this. No, it has always been here. We're trying to bring it to the forefront to be like, listen, some of these policies been around since 1968, some before.
Yep, you got your check that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about. You just didn't cash it. Because someone's telling you not to go up there and use your government name to get your check endorsed. Come on, son. Who do you make it out to? They got to make the check out to somebody. Can't make the check out to Tarred and Feather. Come on. I yield the mic.
You got a problem in your community. A couple of people in your community, y'all like-minded. You see there's needs that need to be addressed. Then you start throwing in your local organizations to address it. And that's what we're doing with A2, showing you that it can be done. It's not going to take an arm and a leg and this, no, but it will take research because you want to make sure that you have it correct. Because doing it correct, it allows you to build infrastructure and foundations that can last the test of time. Not something that's running for a year or two, then it's going, no. Actual real change. Change the philosophy on how we operate, how we do business, how we view the world and how the world views us. How we want somebody to believe that there's value in us if we don't even believe we have value. Come on, man.
I got a question.
If we don't believe it, how we gonna get somebody else to believe it?
What's your question, Gabby?
I'm gonna let Ben. Bones talking.
No, I'm done. My bad. I'm going back to the corner.
But I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying when I gave that example about sports. I'm not talking about the leeches called agents that are out there that are exploiting the youth. I'm talking about you listen to any athlete that comes from our community, who people they're going to think? They're going to thank God, they're going to thank their mama, and then they're going to thank a coach. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the coaches that are still doing it generation after generation. If you have not watched LeBron James' documentary, you need to watch it. There's a high school coach. This coach was still coaching. This is not, oh, I'm a coach. I see LeBron, and I'm going to put all this. It is everybody. Those that didn't even make it to the NBA. He has instilled so much value, and they're giving back to the community. How is it that you got someone that's been making GoFundMe for the last 7 to 8 years to build, to open up a school, and you ain't seeing any results, and you got LeBron opening up schools in the neighborhood he grew up in. That's what I'm talking about. It was a coach that instilled that. But it was these coaches that know about these nonprofits and how to organize to give back to the community. There's more than just coming together. I'm not coming together for a fake powwow. I'm coming together so that when we leave, we can be mobile.
That part. No more waiting for people. Why we gotta wait for people to come to our communities to do it for us? Isn't it worth doing it for ourselves?
Can I read something?
Go ahead, what you got?
The Indian Reorganization Act of 1934.
Go ahead.
No, can I? For real?
Yeah, I have one request though, that you read it twice out loud so somebody can really hear what happened during this Indian Reorganization Act under the New Deal. Go ahead, read it twice, please.
Hard hat, seatbelt, strap yourself down. Strap yourself down for this one. Warning, warning, warning. Okay.
Okay, am I reading the whole thing? Because I wanted to start at section 13.
Whatever you want to start is fine. Go read it twice. Whatever you read it twice.
Section 13. It says, the provisions of this act shall not apply to any of the territories, colonies, or insular possessions of the United States, except that sections 9, 10, 11, 12, and 16 shall apply to the territory of Alaska, provided that sections 2, 4, 7, 16, and 17 and 18 of this act shall not apply to the following named Indian tribes, together with members of other tribes affiliated with such names named located in the state of Oklahoma as follows: Cheyenne, Arapaho, Apache, Comanche, Kiowa, Caddo, Delaware, Wichita, Asagi, Ka, Ato, Tonkoa, Pawnee, Ponca, Shawnee, Ottawa, Quapaw, Seneca, Wyandotte, Iowa, Sac, and Fox, Kickapoo, Patawa, I always mess that up. Pota, Watami, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole. Section 4 of this act shall not apply to the Indians of the Klamath Reservation in Oregon. Section 14. The Secretary of the Interior is hereby directed to continue the allowance of the articles enumerated in Section 17 of this Act, March 2nd, 1889. 25 Statute L 891, or their communicated cash value under the Act of June 10th, 1886. 29 Statute L 334. To all Sioux Indians who would be eligible, but for the provisions of this act, to receive allotments of land in severalty under Section 19 of the Act of May 29th, 1908, sections 25, 35, statutes L 451, or under any prior act, and who have the prescribed status of the head of a family or single person over the age of 18 years, and his approval shall be final and conclusive. Claims therefore to be paid as formerly from the permanent appropriation made by said Section 17 and carried on the books of the Treasury for this purpose. No person shall receive in his own right more than one allowance of the benefits, and application must be made and approved during the lifetime of the allottee, or the right shall lapse. Such benefits shall continue to be paid upon such reservation until such time as the lands available therein for the allotment at the time of the passage of this act would have been exhausted by the award to each person receiving such benefits of an allotment of 80 acres of such land. Section 15. Nothing in this act shall be construed to impair or prejudice any claim or suit of an Indian tribe against the United States. It is hereby declared to be the intent of Congress that no expenditures for the benefit of Indians made out of appropriations authorized by this act shall be considered as offset in any suit brought to recover upon any claim of such Indians against the United States. Section 16. Any Indian tribe or tribes residing on the same reservation shall have the right to organize for its common welfare and may adopt any appropriate constitution and bylaws, which shall become effective when ratified by a majority vote of the adult members of the tribe or of the adult Indians residing on such reservation, as the case may be, at a special election authorized by the Secretary of the Interior under such rules and regulations as he may prescribe. Such constitution and bylaws, when ratified as aforesaid and approved by the Secretary of the Interior, shall be revocable by an election open to the same voters and conducted in the same manner as herein above provided. Amendments to the Constitution and bylaws may be ratified and approved by the Secretary in the same manner as the original Constitution and bylaws. In addition to all powers vested in any Indian tribe or tribal council by existing law, the Constitution adopted by said tribe shall also vest in such tribe or its tribal council the following rights and powers: to employ legal counsel, the choice of counsel, and fixing of fees to be subject to the approval of the Secretary of Interior, to prevent the sale, disposition, lease, or encumbrance of tribal lands, interest in lands, or other tribal assets without the consent of the tribe, and to negotiate with the federal, state, and local governments. The Secretary of Interior shall advise such tribe or its tribal council of all appropriation estimates of federal projects for the benefit of the tribe prior to the submission of such estimates to the Bureau of the Budget, and the Congress. Section 17. The Secretary of Interior may, upon petition by at least 1/3 of the adult Indians, issue a charter of incorporation to such tribe, provided that such charter shall not become operative until ratified at a special election by a majority vote of the adult Indians living on the reservation. Such charter may convey to the incorporated tribe the power to purchase, take by gift or bequest, or otherwise own, hold, manage, operate, and dispose of property of every description, real and personal, including the power to purchase restricted Indian lands and to issue in exchange therefore interest in corporate property and such further powers as may be incidental to the conduct of a corporate business, not inconsistent with law, but no authority shall be granted to sell, mortgage, or lease for a period exceeding 10 years any of the land included in the limits of the reservation. Any charter so issued shall not be revoked or surrendered except by act of Congress. Section 18. This act shall not apply to any reservation wherein a majority of the adult Indians voting at a special election duly called by the Secretary of Interior shall vote against its application. It shall be the duty of the Secretary of the Interior within 1 year after the passage of the approval of this act to call such an election, which election shall be held by secret ballot upon 30 days' notice. Section 19. The term Indian, as used in this act, shall include all persons of Indian descent who are members of any recognized Indian tribe now under federal jurisdiction, and all persons who are descendants of such members who were, on June 1st, 1934, residing within the present boundaries of any reservation, and shall further include all other persons of 1/2 or more Indian blood. For the purposes of this act, Eskimos and other Aboriginal peoples of Alaska shall be considered Indians. The term tribe, whenever used in this act, shall be construed to refer to any Indian tribe, organized band, pueblo, or Indian residing on one reservation. The words adult Indians, whenever used in this act, shall be construed to refer to Indians who have attained the age of 21 years. That's it. I hit the end.
Yeah, basically what the act did, it was basically the way how they eliminated Indian reservations by dividing it up into communal lots of 160 acres.
Right.
And gave it to the head of household. But now what happened at this same time, a lot of the land that was given to individuals was lost due to taxes not being paid.
Yeah.
Because think about it, you made them private landowners. They had no way of paying the property taxes. So it goes back to the government. Because you got to remember who is in control of all the land. Basically, the government is the overseer of the land. And only Congress can give Indians land, basically. To get a land allotment, only Congress can do it. Because as the act go later on, they come back in 1954. The Department of Interior, in the last phase of terminating it, they eliminated the last 61 tribal nations. With basically what they recognized relationship within the federal government. A lot of the ones that got it back, if you realize they're getting that back in the 70s, late 70s, 80s, and 1990s. Not to be funny, some of these are different groups using names. But yeah, they been dispersed all them 1954.
So,
Also, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
nah, go ahead, James. You got it. You probably gonna answer my question with what you're saying, so go ahead.
I was just going to say, also in that act, it tells you about you also have the right to reorganize and having a
Yep.
charter. So, for those again that are telling you, they keep telling you about, oh, we need to come together, we need to come together, and we got a council, but you have no charter. Because again, there are rules and regulations, and they're telling you how to go about it. They're telling you how to bring something forth. They're telling you how to vote on it. They're telling you that the age was 21, now it's 18. Because at that time, you had to be 21 years old or older to vote. So then they lowered it to 18. So you sit there and you said, oh, well, these guys are ages. What's being done right now with A2 is how you reorganize, how you are structured. So when you have a vote, people that are telling you to do it all on your own is not happening. And if you think like what Brother Bones just said, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, we lived in one house. My maternal grandmother lived next door. My maternal great grandmother lived across the street. I had an aunt that stayed next door to my grandmother. We were all right there. That was your reservation. All my people stayed within one block. I got away with nothing. Myself and my siblings, we didn't get away with dumb ditty. It's about restructuring. So anybody that's telling you all this information without having any type of bylaw in place, no charter in place, if y'all don't, I'm keep hammering home the signs so you will know. So even Stevie Wonder can see a scam coming. If they're not telling you to get your things together, get your papers in order for the next generation, so we don't have to keep restarting this over and over and over, keep hitting the reset button. Come on, man. They sitting there, all you gotta do is read that act. That's why I'm glad that you read that. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I know I'm on my rant.
I want to read something else. It's part of section 5. It says, to any lands or rights acquired pursuant to this act shall be taken in the name of the United States in trust for the Indian tribe or individual Indian for which the land is acquired. And such lands or rights shall be exempt from state and local taxation.
National parks.
Not only that, but that's the land for the federally recognized Indians, because what you're doing is you're giving them control because you're not considering yourself a minor, which now gives the government the opportunity and the wherewithal to determine who your tribal leaders are, and if they want to run a pipeline through that property, you gave them a right because now you are a federally recognized tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. U.S. government started picking the leadership of the tribes at that point officially.
Which goes back to what we've always said for those that claim that they know the law. If the Constitution supersedes the law, then why is it that 501c3 and okay. Does anybody know how most of these tribes got started before they became federally recognized? Does anybody realize that they had to be a 501c3 before they became federally recognized? And when you become a 501c3, you have to register with the state, which means you're up under state jurisdiction. And when you apply for federal recognition, because you have to apply, then and only then are the United States government allowed to come into said state, recognize you, and now you're giving them access to that land. You have to request to become a federally recognized Indian. You have to request, a federally recognized tribe. The United States government does not determine who is federally recognized. You have to put in the paperwork to apply, which basically means that the United States government, aka the writers of the Constitution, or however you want to put it, cannot supersede state law and just determine that, oh, your tribe should become federally recognized, and we're going to come in and take this land and make you a tribe. No, you have to apply, which basically means state law supersedes federal law.
Yep.
State constitution supersedes federal constitution. What came first, the United States of America or the 13 colonies? Y'all need to stop doing some reading. Stop listening to these people and they think you know what you're talking about. There was state constitutions before there was United States Constitution. You can't have
Congress
states.
don't know.
Right, you can't have United States if the states didn't exist first. Idiots.
And in essence, your state is a tribe.
Yep. Because who can allot land? Congress. Don't every state has a representative that reports back to where? Hold up. Huh?
And did it mention anywhere in there about the one that's in the White House? No. Because it is Congress. It is Congress that determines law, not the one sitting in the White House. He executes the law. That's why he's called.
Yep.
He sits in the executive office. He cannot. The one sitting in the White House cannot make law. He is to execute the law. It gets back to the three branches of government, which are the three branches that we had as Indians. We taught them government. And you want people to try to get away from something that your people established. But you want to honor the ancestors. Come on, son. You are spitting in their face. You are spitting on their grave. Getting away because they telling you the structure on how to do it, how to organize as a tribe, how to put those charter together, and how to vote. The Calvary Union, can you read again what it says, what defines an Indian as this? Can you go to that part again? I'm sorry, I know you're trying to read something else.
Which part? No, you're fine. Because I just pulled up the 1866 Act. You said what section again?
The section that defines the Indian.
The defines the Indian. Give me a second. Where it says the term Indian? That part? Okay. The term Indian as used in this act shall include all persons of Indian descent who are members of any members of any recognized Indian tribe now under federal jurisdiction, and all persons who are descendants of such members who were on June.
I'm sorry. Can you stop right there? Because that's that time. What year was this again?
1934.
1934, all tribes were under federal jurisdiction.
Yep.
Did it say you had to be 1/4 Indian? Did it say you had to be 1/2 Indian? Did it say you had to be 98% Indian? Did it say that? Did it break down the percentages?
It said, and shall further include all other persons of 1/2 or more Indian blood.
So you said.
Go ahead.
So you said it shall include, meaning those are included with the rest of the definition. So can you read that part again, Gabby, please?
From the beginning.
What is defined by Indian?
Okay.
Yeah.
You said what is the term Indian?
Yeah. What do they mean when they say Indian?
Okay. So it's just this section. Okay. Section 19. The term Indian, as used in this act, shall include all persons of Indian descent.
Stop right there. All persons of Indian descent. So all means all. That's all means, and all can't mean anything other than all. So go ahead.
Okay. Who are members of any recognized Indian tribe now under federal jurisdiction, and all person who are descendants of such members who were on June 1st, 1934, residing within the present boundaries of any reservation, and shall further include all other persons of 1/2 or more Indian blood.
So it's right. So start right there. It says and shall further, and when you say and, that means in addition to, not excluding. So they're covering all in this. Go ahead, Bones.
You see what else is tricky? Within the boundaries. But what they never defined the boundaries of the reservation on how far away from the reservation is this including.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, just pointing out other things for people to pay attention to.
yeah, it's saying residing within the present boundaries. So whatever boundaries that they had in 1934 for this act, then it would, but it still includes, even if you're not on the reservation, you're still the descendant
Exactly.
of. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all I was saying. How it's written, if you don't really pay attention, you'll miss it.
Because that includes your urbanized Indians.
Boom.
Bingo.
It says that here. It says the term tribe, wherever, not whenever, the term tribe, wherever used in this act. So that means that anytime you refer to a tribe, it doesn't matter, whatever tribe is referenced to in any section of this act. So the term tribe, wherever used in this act, shall be construed to refer to any Indian tribe, comma, organized band, comma, pueblo, comma, or the Indians residing on one of the reservations. So it doesn't matter whether you're on the reservation or not. Or it doesn't matter if you're not on.
No, what they're doing, you're right, but they're in the right, and they're letting you know they're covering both Indians,
Right.
meaning the ones on reservations and the ones off reservations.
Right.
So here's
This is what the catch part is. Pueblo only means the people. That's not a definitive tribe. When people say, oh, I'm Pueblo, it just means you're the people. It's by the people, it's saying you're Indian, you're Indio. That's all it means. That is all it means. Pueblo just means the people. We the people. Who are the people? Come on, son.
In the act, they gave you the definition for what they meant about an Indian and a tribe, letting you know that there's two different groups. You have Indians that's lumped together in tribes, then you have individuals just living among out in society, not identified as tribes because they're not together.
Because I'm going to tell you. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because here's the thing that I got a question about, James, and maybe you can answer this, or Bones, or whoever. So if that's the case, and they're defining us in 1934, then in 1970, we have the right to self-identify. By self-identifying and by accepting the terms that they gave us, not the terms that they made us have, we're basically misidentifying ourselves or taking ourselves out of the acknowledgement of being Indian. Am I right or am I incorrect?
That is correct. You just pulling Eddie Murphy on the subway and coming to America.
I put the definition in the chat.
You just renounced your throne. Because you, being a sound-minded body, have said, I am not Indian because the government has classified me as an Indian. So you have the right to self-identify. Just before that, what happened in the 70s, you got stabbed in Africa. Everybody go back to Africa because you African now. Come on, son. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, some question in the chat.
Now, somebody was asking, should we be state recognized? Again, this is what I will tell you. If you're federally recognized or you state recognized, you're under the jurisdiction of the state and you're under the jurisdiction of the federal government, which basically means some of your rights are reserved and you're still a minor. And as James has said, you don't want to be, if you want to be able to have more autonomy, it is best to be acknowledged as a tribe than to be recognized by the state or the federal government as a tribe. Am I stating that correctly, James?
Yes, sir. And I'm going to show you the easiest way. I'm going to show you the easiest way to get it right. So when knuckleheads try to say you don't be counted, on the census, doesn't it ask you to define your race and ethnicity?
Yep.
Right to tribe in.
And the Indian is one of the boxes.
And it asks you if you're tribal affiliated.
But before that, it says individually, are you, what Indian, Negro, African American, Black, whatever you try to call yourself, but it gives you the classification, Caucasian, white, whatever. But on there, it gives you a box that it says Indian, American Indian. So is the census not in federal form? Yes or no?
The census is a federal form. Yes, it is.
Yep.
So on there, do you have the right to self-identify on that form?
Yes, you do.
When you fill out that census, they mark you as what you put yourself, do they not?
That's true.
Yes, they do.
On that federal form, you are saying I'm an Indian, and they count you as an Indian.
Bingo.
And so let's make this a little bit easier, which goes back to what I said. So how about this, James? Can I correct me if I'm wrong? Would it be advantageous for you to take that document, mark yourself down, whatever you want to mark yourself down? I can't tell you what to mark yourself down, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark myself down as American Indian. I'm going to go ahead and get it notarized. I'm going to send them a notarized copy, and I'm going to keep my official original copy on my person because now that is a federal document. And since it has been notarized, it is an affidavit, right or wrong.
That is correct, sir. And when you have that, and matter of fact, if you have a bank, you can go to your bank. They do it for free. Or you can go to the courthouse, and there is a notary, there's several notaries in the courthouse that they do it for free. So if you don't have the money, a couple of dollars to pay to get it notarized, it is done for free at the courthouse.
And if you look,
on your person.
and if you are in the state of Virginia, I can notarize it because I am a notary. So just so you know.
Hey, what up? I'm coming up 64, 295 to 95. Or I could just go to my bank right around the corner.
And I say this because the reason why I'm so adamant, and I'm going to have to go in a minute because thanks to Brother No Sellout, I'm headed to another meeting till about 12. Thank you, Brother No Sellout. I appreciate it. But just understand that I'm coming so hard in the paint because hearing from one of our elders last night and the things that she's going through, dealing with scammers, that's why I go hard in the paint like that. Because you got folks listening, you have the wrong voices in your ear telling you stuff that is totally opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. And what you're getting today didn't cost you a cotton picking dime. Cost you nothing. Cost you to pay attention, that's it. And you can't put a money amount on paying attention. You can't make somebody pay attention. Even when they tell you you got ADD and ADHD, they give you ritalin. But that don't make you pay attention. That just makes you docile. Come on, son. I yield the mic.
By notarizing that document and sending them the copy and you keeping the original, that's how you get around that 70-year wait that your family has to determine to wait to see what you put yourself down as. By notarizing it and then sending them the copy and you keeping the original, you have just got around that 70-year wait for your ancestors. Now you have that and you can put it in your safety deposit box or your safe or wherever you want, and then can't nobody tell you who you are. That's how you authenticate a document, dummy.
Yeah, even when it comes to the census, you have the right to identify as an American Indian. See, doing your genealogy is for you to find out who your tribe is, who to tie back into if you choose to. But you don't need that part to identify on the census. It's self-identification.
One more time, Bones.
You do not need that to identify as an American Indian. It's self-identification.
Could you explain to me what self-identification is?
You identifying yourself.
No one else?
No one else.
So it's something I choose.
If you want to be identified as a toaster on the census, that's your choice.
Yep, they got a
Shut the
space.
front door.
They
Kind
got
of like toaster ovens because they're a little bit more. They got range. You know, you can do a bunch of things.
that would be a range, not to be confused with a stove, and that's not a toaster oven. So just so you know, go ahead.
No more pantalones.
When they were talking about notarizing, they were saying if when you do the census, get it copied, get it notarized, send one back in, keep one for your own records. So that way your ancestors don't have to wait that 70-year period to find out what you put down. We can change it. Okay,
All right,
they
so you're
have
talking logic. Can you say
Okay,
that
they
again,
have our.
please?
Okay, they got our records, but why we can't hold on to our own records? Okay, they got a copy, we got a copy.
And here's the thing. Again, y'all gotta learn how to use these systems. To make sure they got the right copy, send it certified with return receipt or send it with insurance so you know that they got it. Because if what you sent don't match what they put 70 years from now, your family can sue for fraud.
Bingo.
That part?
That part.
That part. You use the system. How are you supposed to use it? You don't run away from it.
Are you sure I don't need to go to Africa?
Yeah, I can't tell you where you can go. You can go to Africa if you want to. But again, we're not here to tell you what you should do or what you shouldn't do. We're here to give you options. So if you want to make sure that the government don't dupe you out of your status, your self-proclamation, I don't care what you put. Make sure it's notarized. You keep the original copy. You send a copy to the census. Send it either with insurance, send it certified return receipt, or send it first class. I mean, it's not first class, but express. That way you get a receipt. Mm-hmm. So when in 70 years, if your family looks on the census and see that it was not what you have, which is an affidavit, which is a legal and binding document, now you can sue for fraud. That's how you use the law.
Watch me now.
Now, whoever want to claim they said it first, whoever want to claim that it came out of their mouth and they invented it, I don't care. Just do it. I don't care who it came from. I'm not saying I said it first, because I'm sure I didn't say it first. But I'm saying it now.
Hey, can I read something else?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. This is the Civil Rights Act of 1866. I'm not going to read all these pages because I don't know. All right, this is section 3. And be it further enacted that the district courts of the United States within their respective districts shall have exclusively of the courts of the several states cognizance of all crimes and offenses committed against the provisions of this act, and also concurrently with the circuit courts of the United States of all cases, civil and criminal, affecting persons who are denied or cannot enforce in the courts or judicial tribunal of the state or locality where they may be any of the rights secured to them by the first section of this act. And if any suit or prosecution, civil or criminal, has been or shall be commenced in any state court against any such person for any cause whatsoever, or against any officer, civil or military, or other person for any arrest or imprisonment, trespass, or wrongs done or committed by virtue or under color of authority derived from this act, or the act establishing a bureau for the relief of freedmen and refugees, and all acts amendatory therefore, or for refusing to do any act upon the ground that it would be inconsistent with this act, such defendant shall have the right to remove such cause for trial to the proper district or circuit court in the manner prescribed by the act relating to habeas corpus and regulating judicial proceedings in certain cases. Approved March March 3 or March 3rd, 1863. And all acts amendatory thereof. The jurisdiction in civil and criminal matters hereby conferred on the district and circuit courts of the United States shall be exercised and enforced in conformity with the laws under the United States, so far as such laws are suitable to carry the same in effect. But in all cases where such laws are not adapted to the object, or are deficient in provision necessary to furnish suitable remedies and punish offenses against law, the common law, as modified and changed by the Constitution and statutes of the state wherein the court having jurisdiction of the case, civil or criminal, is held, so far as the same is not inconsistent with the Constitution and laws of the United States, shall be extended to and govern said courts in the trial and disposition of such cause, and if of a criminal nature, in the infliction of punishment on the party found guilty. And being further enacted that the district attorneys, marshals, and deputy marshals of the United States, the commissioners appointed by the circuit and territorial courts of the United States, with powers of arresting, imprisoning, or bailing offenders against the laws of the United States, the officers and agents of the Freedmen's Bureau, and every other officer who may be specially empowered by the President of the United States shall be, and they are hereby specially authorized and required at the expense of the United States to institute proceedings against all and every person who shall violate the provisions of this act. My bad, sorry. Okay, provisions of this act, and cause him or them to be arrested or imprisoned or bailed, as the case may be, for trial before such court of the United States or territorial court as by this act has cognizance of the offense, and with a view to affording reasonable protection to all persons in their constitutional rights of equality before the law, without distinction of race or color, or condition of slavery or involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime wherefore the party shall have been duly convicted, and to the prompt discharge of the duties of this act. It shall be the duty of the circuit courts of the United States and their superior courts of the territories of the United States from time to time to increase the number of commissioners so as to afford a speedy and convenient means for the arrest and examination of persons charged with a violation of this act. And such commissioners are hereby authorized and required to exercise and discharge all the powers and duties conferred on them by this act, and the same duties with regard to offenses created by this act as they are authorized by law to exercise with regard to other offenses against the laws of the United States. And be it further enacted that it shall be the duty of all marshals and deputy marshals to obey and execute all warrants and precepts issued under the provision of this act, when to them directed, and should any marshal or deputy marshal refuse to receive such warrant or other process when tendered, or to use all proper means diligently to execute the same, he shall, on conviction thereof, be fined in the sum of $1,000 to use of the person upon whom the accused is alleged to have committed the offense, and the better to enable the said commissioners to execute their duties faithfully and efficiently, in conformity with the Constitution of the United States and the requirements of this act. They are hereby authorized and empowered within their counties, respectively, to appoint in writing under their hand any one or more suitable persons from time to time to execute all such warrants and other process as may be issued by them in the lawful performance of their respective duties. And the person so appointed to execute any warrant or process as aforesaid shall have authority to summon and call to their aid the bystanders or posse comitatus.
Oh, Gabby, you know what this is, right?
Yeah.
It's the creation of the Freedmen's Bureau. That's all it is. But this is the trick. They gave you civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
When you were given civil rights, you gave them jurisdiction. Because now they have to protect your civil rights.
Yep.
That's all it is. The Freedmen Bureau was charged with protecting civil rights for the people they just gave it to. Freedmen Bureau is under the jurisdiction of the United States, therefore making the people that it protects under the jurisdiction of the United States. See, the legal mumbo jumbo will throw you around and lead you other places, but cut right through it cut it straight down to what it's saying. That's exactly what it's saying. They created the Freedmen's Bureau to oversee civil rights, therefore making you under their jurisdiction.
And then again, this goes to what? What are we talking about here? We're talking about federal jurisdiction. We're talking about when you're outside of the states. Because when you're inside the states, you're operating differently.
Correct, Pamela. Whether they protected all the rights or not, the mechanism was created to start making the Indians U.S. citizens. That's all this about. You get what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's all this was about, finding a way to get them to be a consistent workforce. That's it. That's all it is. And that's why it's written that way. Because a lot of times when you read the act, if you don't know how it's written legally, it will confuse you. Because they're going to say the same thing over and over. It's just how it's written. You got to be able to break it down to see actually what they're saying.
Okay. It says, and you know how they have the inserts on the act? It says, who are citizens of the United States? All persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians not taxed, are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States, and such citizens of every race and color without regard to any provisions, conditions of slavery and involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime, wherever the party shall have been duly convicted, shall have the same right in every state and territory in the United States to make and enforce.
Stop. It says.
You just said it. You just said it.
It says, first of all, it says, and here's the thing, because people read that act and they don't pay attention. It says it shall. It doesn't say you do.
Mm-hmm.
See, people gotta learn how to read. They need to stop reading for comprehension and read for understanding. You shall have that right, but if the state doesn't deem it necessary, you won't have that right. That's why rights are different in different states. It says you shall have that right. That doesn't necessarily mean you will have it. That means it's up to the state's discretion. If the state so choose. Let's not get it twisted.
Yep.
The United States Constitution does not override state constitution. Stop playing. Because I'm here to tell you right now, if your state goes into what they call it, what they declare a national emergency and there's a curfew, the governor can declare a national a state emergency and keep the National Guard from coming in. So if federal rights override state rights, how is that possible?
Federal government needs state permission.
And think about this. What happened in Louisiana when Hurricane Katrina hit? And the federal government could not come in until there was a declaration of national emergency. And how long did it take the governor to declare a national emergency in Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait. Y'all know law though. Stop playing.
Yeah, the second session to this, section 2, okay, section 2, and it being further enacted that any person who, under color of any law, comma, statute, comma, ordinance, comma, regulation, comma, or custom, comma, shall subject, comma, or cause to be subjected, comma, any inhabitant of any state or territory to the deprivation of any right secured or protected by this act, comma, or to different punishments, pains, or penalties on account of such person having at any time been held in a condition of slavery or involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime wherever the party shall have been duly convicted, or by reason of his color or race, then is prescribed for the punishment of white person, shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor and or convicted, shall be punished by fine not exceeding $1,000 or imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or both, in the discretion of the court. That's it for section 2. I apologize.
Nah, you good. But at the end of the day, people talking this law stuff and they're not paying attention to the law because they don't know law. Declaring that the Constitution overrides all law when it doesn't. It doesn't.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. Say what you got to say.
No. It's just reading this. Like it's, it's like when it comes to act and law, it's like I hear your Jiminy Cricket voice saying, okay, this is an act. That's because if you violate this act, you're breaking the law. Like laws come, there has to be an action in order to be a law.
There has to be.
Yep.
You can't have a law without an action because you have to be violating something. Laws always come after the act.
Right. Which this included the statutes, and statutes are laws.
Right. The law is a reaction to a violation of an act, which is the reason why the United States government is always considered to be a reactionary state.
And this says under color of any law, which statutes, and then it says comma, statutes, comma, ordinances, comma, regulation, comma, because I do understand, well, I do get that every comma is the end of one statement and the beginning of another, right?
Yeah, you can even make it simpler than that, though, Gabby.
Okay.
Basically, what it's telling you, you can't take care of yourself. You can't govern yourself. You can't protect yourself. So if I'm going to do it for you, if I got to mind your business for you, this is how it's going to be done. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it boils down to at the end of the day. You're not minding your business, so these are the rules we're going to govern you by because we got to watch you. We got to take care of you, and these are the rules and the guidelines how we're going to do it. That's all it is because you're not minding your business. Because think about it. If you're the NFL, everything we read don't touch the NFL. Why? Because they're minding their business under their own constitution and bylaws. They have a system set up so if them constitution and bylaws are violated, if their acts are violated, they got all that written in there. They telling you like, okay, you don't want to do anything. Okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Oh no, section 6. You know what? I'm gonna let people go read this stuff for themselves so they understand how far back something they do can hem them up. Section 6, penalty for obstructing process under this act.
So Big Nelson, you says I can think for myself. So you want to take that one step further because there are levels to everything. If you want to be recognized, if you want to be acknowledged by the government, replace the I with we and the my with ours. And then pay attention to when politicians says corporations are people too.
Yeah, people hear that, but I don't really think they tie that in.
They don't.
That
They don't.
means the same protections of a person. Woo! Woo!
They don't get it.
All the protections of a person, of a human being, are awarded to corporations. The same autonomy, the same rights, the same privileges, however you want to word it. So all these people do, instead of moving as an individual, they maneuver with a company because they are awarded the same. But guess what? Let me hush. I'm not going to say that. Somebody take that the wrong way. No.
Now, hopefully, you understand the statement. No man is an island. This levels everything. No man or woman is an island. So the question you have to ask yourself is, why is that statement important? What does an island need? People claiming all the stuff that they know about law. When you talk law, you're late. Law is the after effect. You need to talk acts. And I ain't talking about that. I'm not talking about the acts in that religious book known as the Bible. I'm talking about acts. Governance. I don't know, man. People make this more difficult than what it should be, and then people listen to other people and don't question them. And then they get hemmed up, and then they get mad.
Okay, when you ask the question, what does an island need?
Yeah, no man is an island.
So it needs to be surrounded by water.
Not only that, but what is a? Think about this. What is an island without people? It's abandoned property.
Yep, empty. Nothing.
There's no purpose. It has no value. It doesn't serve. It does not serve its purpose. There is no, just like no man is an island, is the same thing as there is no such thing as a self-made man. If you do any research or you study anybody that has ever become successful, they've always had help. It's always been a community.
Always.
People don't become successful by themselves. It's always a community. It's always a group effort. It's always business, man.
What? You talking about people were working together with other people? Shut the front door.
And lock the back. Because you don't want nobody coming in sneaking up on you. Why do you think that for those of you who do file your taxes, why do you think that when you file your taxes and you are a single person LLC, that you only file your taxes on the 1040, which is basically an individual tax return?
Mufasa, ooh.
Because you're treated like an individual. You're treated like a person. You're treated like a dependent. You are not a corporation. You are not minding your business. Ergo, the government must mind your business. So when you are an individual claiming sovereignty or claiming independence, in order to claim independence, someone has to recognize your independence. I'm going to say it again. In order for you to claim independence, someone has to recognize your independence because you're making a declarative statement. And in what container or on what land are you making a declarative statement? Who's vouching for you? Who vouched for the United? Who vouched for the 13 colonies? There were two entities that were already sovereign that vouched for the United States, or AKA the 13 colonies. France and the Ottoman Empire. Without those two vouching for them, they could not have declared independence. Why? Because the moment you make a declaration, you better have somewhere to go afterwards. Because if you have nowhere to go, you are still under the jurisdiction of the country that you're making a declaration from.
And look at it this way. You can declare whatever you want. But what's the mechanism of enforcement? You declare this, I don't listen. Where's the enforcement? That's why you need other entities.
Somebody gotta have your back, dog.
What? That sounds like people need to work together.
I mean, however you want to put it, but you make declarations inside of a country, and you ain't got nobody that's gonna back you. You just talking. But should they decide to take you up on it, and they can, because
How would you enforce your declaration? How would you enforce your declaration? How would you impose it if somebody doesn't recognize your declaration? I mean, really, let's think this out. You read off a declaration. They just laugh at it and keep doing what they're doing. How do you enforce it? Well, what mechanism?
Here's a funny thing that people don't realize. Your Miranda rights, right? What's one of the things they tell you about in your Miranda rights?
You have the right to remain silent.
And what's next after that?
Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Now say that part again.
Pause right there.
Oh, you have to have
I know TMA's going exactly.
Now,
can be used against you. Anything that you say will. But guess what? It can be used against you, not to help you.
Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Now how about this? How about this? No, let me finish. Now add the Patriot Act to amplify that, and now tell me what that means.
I'll tell you. Hold on.
Because y'all know law, right? Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Now think about the Patriot Act, and think about the BIE list, and think about the sovereign citizenship. But you know law.
Look at it this way. When there's a crime scene, see, people really don't pay attention. When the police is on the crime scene, are they there gathering evidence to show that you are innocent? Or are they trying to show that you're guilty?
Can I read it or no?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Okay. It's an act preserving life and liberty. The Patriot Act allows investigators to use the tools that were already available to investigate organized crime and drug trafficking. Organized crime. Many of the tools the Act provides to law enforcement to fight terrorism have been used for decades to fight organized crime and drug dealers, and have been reviewed and approved by the courts. As Senator Joe Biden explained during the floor debate about the act, the FBI could get a wiretap to investigate the mafia, but they could not get one to investigate terrorists. To put it bluntly, that was crazy. What's good for the mob should be good for the terrorists. The act allows law enforcement to use surveillance against more crimes of terror. Before the Patriot Act, courts could permit law enforcement to conduct electronic surveillance to investigate many ordinances, non-terrorism crimes such as drug crimes, mail fraud, and passport fraud. Agents also could obtain wiretaps to investigate some, but not all, of the crimes that terrorists often commit. The act enabled investigators to gather information when looking into full range of terrorism related to crimes including chemical weapons of offenses, the use of weapons of mass destruction, killing Americans abroad, and terrorism financing. Allows federal agents to follow sophisticated terrorist trained to evade detection. For years, law enforcement have been able to use roving wiretaps to investigate ordinary crimes, including drug offenses and racketeering.
Stop.
Let me give you the definition of racketeering.
Hold on. But it says ordinary crimes and. Because people just hear the crimes that's listed, but you got to look at ordinary crime. So that means any crime that they consider to be ordinary, because you got to realize in the United States of America, whatever you want to call a corporation, you're innocent until proven guilty, but under the assumption of the United States government, you're guilty until they got enough evidence to build against you. Correct or incorrect?
Right. However, I'm going to put the definition of racketeering in here, and here's why. This is where everything gets covered. The definition of racketeering is providing a need for something that wasn't originally there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Gabby, that's the part where people get caught up. That part that you're reading, that part is irrelevant. The part that you have to realize in this act, what it did, it used the term terrorism to be able to spy on everyone. Because once you're labeled a domestic terrorist, it gave them the rights to surf through everybody's phone conversation, everybody's video conversation, under the premise that they're protecting you from terrorists.
Right.
See, all the other stuff, the racketeer and all that stuff they throwing in it, that's the stuff that throws you off the loop. Look at what the act gave them permission to do. Look at what it asks you to do. Then you'll realize this same act is attached to why every U.S. citizen was given a digital cell phone. While they made sure every U.S. citizen had a digital television. So you don't get caught up into the stuff that they tied into.
Right.
Look for what it allowed them to do. Because the acts are opening up actions for them to do things. It's setting it up so if you do this, this is the action for anybody that's doing this.
Right.
That's what you want to pull out of it. Because see, whether you racketeering or not, it doesn't matter when it comes to the Patriot Act. All they got to do is deem you a domestic terrorist.
This eliminates
black extremist identity groups.
So why are we talking about this? So I'm going to put this in here for those of you who don't know, because people keep claiming law, which is wall spelled backwards. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Now, remember the word terrorism, correct? Remember how we always talk about how before things change, they define things and they create definitions for things? Remember that? Okay. US Legal, uslegal.com. Convenient, affordable legal help because we care. It's a legal site, nonprofit organization. Sovereign citizen law and legal definition. Sovereign citizen is a term used to refer to a political movement which grew out of a belief in government abuses of power. Members often refuse to hold Social Security cards or driver's license and avoid using zip codes, period. Sovereign citizens believe that the United States citizens are either 14th Amendment citizens who are subject to the federal and state laws and taxes, or sovereign citizens who are subject only to common law or constitutional law, or both, but are not bound to obey statutory law. No court has ever upheld these claims. Sovereign citizens may also be referred as freemen or common law citizens. A sovereign citizen is defined by the Anti-Defamation League as the sovereign citizen movement is a loosely organized collection of groups and individuals who have adopted a right-wing anarchist ideology originated in theories of a group called the Poses Comites in the 1970s. Its adherents believe that virtually all existing government in the United States is illegitimate, and they seek to restore an idealized minimalist government that never actually existed. To this end, sovereign citizens wage war against the government and other forms of authority using paper terrorism, harassment, and intimidation tactics, and occasionally resorting to violence. What did the Patriot Act talk about? Terrorists, right? What do terrorists commit? Acts of terrorism. So does terrorism have to be physical, or can terrorism be paper?
It could be paper.
Oh, okay.
Terrorism is basically terrifying somebody, scaring someone.
So here's what I challenge every Moore and every individual claiming to separate from the United States government. Use your law to break down and tear apart the Patriot Act. You ain't got to do it on YouTube. Do it in your private forums. Tear down the Patriot Act and show how your laws and what you know can stop somebody from busting in your doors and sending you to Guantanamo Bay and holding you indefinitely because you a terrorist. Do me that favor. Because they can't do that. Because you are the Patriot Act, when you are deemed a terrorist, you do not have the right to an attorney. They can hold you indefinitely without legal representation, whether it's your own or somebody else's. So for those of you claiming that they want to be separate and they want to use these instruments, please, 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 for the sake of the people that you are training, show them how what you know, your laws, the laws that you've been taught by your grandmasters, can tear apart the Patriot Act and keep them protected. Make sure you do it where there is no recordings. Make sure you do it where ain't nobody got a phone. I bet you can't do it, but it's going to be interesting to see how you try. That's why I brought that up. You know law. Okay. You could be placed on a BIE list just for being associated with somebody that is believed to be a sovereign citizen. Don't believe me? Bones, didn't we do a video on that? On the BIE list? Isn't there a video on the BIE list? I think there is.
Yes, you did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Y'all ain't gotta believe us. Check out that video on the BIE list. We did videos on sovereign citizen. And after we did those videos, people stopped going on YouTube and posting when they was gonna be having meetings about sovereign citizenship. EJ Coppertone says free go to jail card. And again, I'm not saying those tactics don't work. I'm just saying I don't know anybody that they work for. That's why I say that if you're promoting these instruments that's going to supposedly help people get out the system, hopefully you can explain and protect them from the Patriot Act. Because once the
you pushing on a system that was developed by people who hated your ancestors. Hold up, man.
Copper Color Ancestor says, I read an article that they are going to do away with the BIE term. They're going to do away with the BIE term, but they're not going to do away with the actual group that are associated with that term. They're just going to reclassify it, just like they reclassified Indians, just like they reclassified the Buffalo Soldiers. They said they're going to do away with the term. They didn't say it's going to do away with the group.
They're going to get they already started it. Because what did they start calling them? Domestic terrorists.
Yep.
That's it. They're just gonna push them. They're just gonna put them under domestic terrorist category. That's it.
That's what that means. They're getting rid of the term. Exactly. Not the action, the term.
And that's mainly because they're not going to apply black to a particular group of people legally moving forward. That's the tall tale signs.
So that should also tell you by the 2022, by the 2030 census, what term is going to be removed from the census.
Yeah, they already being prepared for it. Man, by 2020, Negro come off.
Yep. So be prepared. 2030 census, there's not going to be black on there. But I'm sure somebody said that first somewhere else. So let them have the credit. I just want you to be aware.
When it deals with policies and these laws, nothing just happens out of the blue. They be so far ahead in the mechanisms.
Oh yeah, and for that business owner that always talk about the morning show making up acronyms, I got one for you. FIBO, FIBO. Not to be confused with fabulous. First of all, FABOLOUS. This is FIBO. FIBO stands for Fake International Business Owner, because you don't know that there are 3 nonprofits that can be and influence politics, but you're an international business owner. You might need to stick with local business, because not only you suck in international business, you suck with local business. And I got proof, because you came to me for help. All you gotta do is show your proof. I got 24 hours of proof. Where's yours? I'll wait. So today's words, boys and girls, acronym is FIBO. Fake International Business Owner. I repeat, Fake International Business Owner. FIBO.
I just played one on TV.
I'm sorry, was that petty? Yeah, I don't care. Because proof is not a problem. 24 hours, come visit the site. You'll hear your voice. You will hear your voice. We're calling your name. You're asking for assistance.
Oh, the boat, man. I'm sorry, relative. It's just funny to me. The boat, oh my goodness. I think I laughed for probably about 2 hours.
Oh, the international, the boat, the offshore. Yes, FIBO, FIBO. Here's a funny thing about it. You should know better than to take shots at somebody that's gonna look something up. Everybody knows that nonprofits can't be engaged in politics. Everybody knows, huh? Everybody knows, huh? Okay. But everybody knows. 501c4, 501c5, 501c6 are allowed to use 49.9% of their monies to influence politics. Partner. But I get information from you. But I got recordings of you trying to get information from me. Okay. We'll wait for your proof. We'll wait for your receipts. I would love to see them. See, I ain't the one to play with. You play a business owner on television. You play a business owner on YouTube. I'm a real one.
Can I read something?
Sure, go ahead.
Can nonprofits engage in political activity? It depends on what kind of nonprofit we're talking about. A 501c3 and a 501c4 are very similar, but are ruled by different standards when it comes to political activity, such as lobbying. Lobbying. Didn't we read maybe a week and a half ago about Comcast paying lobbyists?
Having lobbyists in Congress to get what they needed. Yeah, that's how it goes.
501c4. And I put the link in the chat. The 501c4, which is called a social welfare organization, may engage in a variety of political activities, some of which are unrestricted, and others that are restricted to some degree. Lobbying for legislative change is treated liberally, while advocating for a particular political candidate is more restricted. But political activities should only be part of the purpose of the 501c4 to remain tax exempt. In some cases, contributions to a 501c4 are non-tax deductible. On the other hand, donations and the names of the donors to a 501c4 are not subject to disclosure rules, making them popular and controversial during political campaigns.
Stop.
Example.
Stop. Say that part again. One more again for the people, for the peoples in the cheap seats, and for all the fibos out there, FIBO, that don't understand what a 501c4 is. Please read that again. Go ahead.
In most cases, contributions to a 501c4 are not tax deductible. On the other hand, donations and the names of the donors to a 501c4 are not subject to disclosure rules, making them popular and controversial during political campaigns. Examples of a 501c4 organizations include AARP and the NRA. Both have social purposes beyond lobbying, but do engage in extensive political orientated activities.
Wait a minute. So, hold on. You mean to tell me they gave you examples of 501c4s that engage in politics? When a specific business expert told you there are no nonprofits that are allowed to participate in politics? Come on, man, stop playing. They lying. It ain't true. You can't do that. Go ahead, keep reading.
Let me keep reading, see if I'm really reading examples. The AARP lobbies are on behalf of older Americans in addition to providing services and education to those citizens. The NRA is a membership organization that provides services to gun owners and lobbies for pro-gun legislation. The balance between social welfare and lobbying is what makes this nonprofit designation so difficult to define and regulate. 501c3. A 501c3, on the other hand, is not allowed to engage in political activity and only limited lobbying. The organization can engage in general voter education about issues, even those that could affect its cause, as long as all points of view are represented. A forum with all candidates or both sides of a ballot initiative are examples of acceptable political activity. Although a 501c3 may not take political sides, it may spend up to 20% of its operating budget on so-called lobbying efforts if it follows the rules of non-partisanship. It's tricky ground though, so organizations need to know the rules thoroughly and tread very carefully. To make the landscape of nonprofits even more confusing, it is not unusual to have both of these classifications closely affiliated with one another. For instance, the NRA is affiliated with the NRA Foundation, which operates as a 501c3, which can provide a tax deduction for contributions. AARP also affiliated with the foundation for fundraising purposes. Some 501c3 charities are affiliated with 501c4 organizations for lobbying purposes. Planned Parenthood is such one charity. Its lobbying arm is the Planned Parenthood Action Fund. It's really no wonder that many of us confuse about who's who and who's allowed to do what when it comes to nonprofits.
That's good enough. So, boys and girls, men and women, people of all ages, what did we learn today? When people make statements, we need to call them on those statements. We need to make them prove what they're saying. Don't sit there and make a statement just because you claim you know something. You're an international business owner, and you're such an international business owner, you do not know that there are nonprofits that are allowed to participate and influence politics. Come on, son. Don't do that. The word for the day, boys and girls, is FIBO, fake international business owner. And again, I got you on tape numerous hours asking me for help. I'm not asking you for help, I'm not getting anything from you, and I'm not borrowing anything from you. Know that to be true. Proof is not a problem, partner. Let's go. So it's 10:42, and we didn't even touch the Battle of San Juan Hill, nor the 10th Calvary. And I'm gonna blame Bones. You know that? That's what I'm gonna blame. I'm blaming Bones. Bones! Where everybody at?
I'm here.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there you go. Won't get right. WGR won't get right. Or WGW won't get white.
Wagwan.
Wagwan. Just saying, man. Receipts got people running like slaves. Yeah, people doing a running man and woman.
Ooh-wee.
All right. Joe 47 says someone's sleeping. No one's sleeping. What you hearing is noise in somebody's line. Stop it. Ain't nobody sleep. Joe 47 causing trouble. We don't fall asleep on air over here. We stay woke. Shout out to Giovanni. What happened? Alright, so what we gonna do? What we gonna do right now is we're going to let everybody get on with their day and move on so they can continue to be a benefit to the community, do their genealogy, handle their business, mind their business.
Can I read something?
How much is it you gonna read? Because you get long-winded when you read, Gabby. I'm just saying.
You're messing with my self-esteem.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, you are.
Go ahead, Gabby Gas. Go ahead. Weed away.
In 1954, Congress approved an amendment by Senator Lyndon Johnson to prohibit 501c3 organizations, which includes charities, churches and churches In 1954, Congress approved an amendment by Senator Lyndon Johnson. Prohibit, I think is what I'm reading. That can't be right, right?
Spell it.
Prohibit.
Prohibit.
Is that prohibit?
That's what it looks like.
Okay. Which includes charities, churches from engaging in any political campaign activity. To the extent Congress has revised the ban over the years, it has in fact strengthened the ban. The most recent change from 1987, when Congress amended the language to clarify that the prohibition also applies to statements opposing candidates. When it's talking about campaigns, but anything else you can be involved with. And this is coming from the IRS website.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have targeted campaigns, but they get around that by using foundations to create organizations for campaigns.
No. I mean, it says that. This is off of the IRS's
Right.
website.
But what I'm saying is the way they get around that is they create foundations that fund campaigns. Meaning, people don't realize that the Republican and the Democratic parties are nonprofit organizations. And you have campaigns that are nonprofit organizations whose sole purpose is to generate a buzz or generate votes for each party. So those are your sub organizations, which are nonprofit organizations, and they're funded by private foundations. And see, private foundations are held to a different standard than your 501c5s, your 501c4s, and your 501c6s. And if you want to know more about foundations and how they get away with the stuff they do, read the book Dark Money. I'm sorry, go ahead, Gabrielle.
This only falls under 501c3.
Exactly.
So this only relates to 501c3.
Right, and it does not. It is not affected by the 501c4, 501c5, and the 501c6, nor private foundations.
No, it's not. It's
So
only for 501c3.
Yeah. So again, do some research, man. Look stuff up.
I'm about to say I am.
Not you. I'm talking to the fake international business owner that keep taking shots at me after I wouldn't help them. They got you recorded asking for help. Don't do that. You're gonna get embarrassed repeatedly.
They know nothing. Know nothing. Know nothing.
Get your feelings hurt. So.
I mean, come on. Why do you think all politicians are attached to foundations? Oops.
That's because 501c aren't allowed to get involved in politics. Wait, what? Y'all gotta pay attention to what's really going on with Trump. Let me ask y'all a question. Has he shown his tax returns yet?
Nope.
Does anybody know why? I know why. Does anybody know why? For those that claim law, does anybody know why?
They don't know nothing.
There are some tax returns that are public, and you got some tax returns that are private. So which means you can mandate some tax returns, and some tax returns you can't mandate. Because if he was in violation of a law based on an act, he would not been able to run for president. Right?
Think about it. This whole impeachment thing that's going on, they trying to find out that he violate any acts, basically. Apply it that way. They're getting together, looking over the evidence, seeing, okay, was an act violated to where we can come up with a law or use a law to go after them. And just another way to keep you distracted.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's about that time.
Yep. Most definitely. Hold on. All right. Gabby Gabs, what you got for the good people before we head out for the day?
Okay. I actually got something. Not to say that I don't usually, but yeah. So for the chat and the people listening, I have this. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, may silence make you strong. Hope everybody's paying attention.
No sellout's not gonna go after that, right?
Okay. Since that's the case.
No. I'm because I'm quick with it today.
For the issues at hand, so to speak. If a man does not know what port he is steering for, no wind is favorable to him.
You said if the man does not know what port he is steering for, no wind is favorable to him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So that doesn't matter whether you're on local or international waters, huh?
Sure doesn't.
Okay, just checking.
Sure doesn't.
All right, no sellout. What you got, brother?
Man, Gabby just be taking all my profound lines I be giving her. But anyway, peace to the chat. I ain't got much to say. Email us if you got anything to say at tashasassembly@gmail.com. Appreciate y'all for downloading the app, checking us out on the website for those who are here viewing. Yeah, peace to everybody. Peace, Bones. Peace, TMH. Peace, Gabby. Peace, James. Copper. Peace to Copper. Where Copper been at, man? But yeah, peace, y'all. Carrie Bay, LJ Free, peace.
Really?
Danielle, peace.
Okay. So I let Petty T out the building today, so forgive me, y'all. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just get tired of people want to play games. So the receipts are out, the videos are there. Y'all know what it is. Y'all see who's taking shots at my business acumen. But the proof is in the pudding. He's asking for my advice. I'm not asking for his. He don't even know that nonprofits can actually participate in politics. Put him for peace today. But anyway. Peace to the panel. Y'all always make what I do fun. I love getting up in the rising, chatting with y'all and learning and exposing information to chat with y'all. So I appreciate y'all and all y'all do. Peace to the attacking this assembly silent majority. Let your voices be heard if you're going to be on other people's channels and they're making claims and they're not backing it up with proof. Just ask for the proof. That's all. Just, hashtag where's the proof? How about that? Let's start a movement. Hashtag where's the proof? Remember that Wendy's commercial, where's the beef? So instead of where's the beef, hashtag where's the proof. That's what I ask y'all to do anytime somebody start making claims. Even with me, if I say something that y'all want substantiated, put it in the chat. Hashtag where's the proof. Call me on it too. Start. Correction starts at home. So we're gonna start here first, and then we're gonna move outwards. Peace to the greatest chat on earth. Whether it's on a platform of a website or a platform of a YouTube channel, the greatest chat on earth. Some of the realest supporters ever. Appreciate y'all. Keep doing what y'all do. Keep that hashtag where's the proof. Let's go ahead and get that started. You can even start putting it in the chat now. Get that practice up. Hashtag where's the proof. Don't ask me to spell it, because I'm going to spell it phonetically. Be something like WARZD proof, PROF. But anyway.
Hey, I got a question.
Sure, Gabby.
Everything we read today, though, does it all connect?
Does it all connect to what?
Together. Like bylaws and whatnot, for your tribe, understanding rules and regulations, nonprofits. Don't all those come together?
They all come together.
Okay.
If you're not minding your business, the government will mind it for you. And then it will charge you a penalty to mind it for you in the form of taxes and fees and interest. Remember that.
All right.
Mr. TJ said proof, PRUFE. Hashtag where's the proof? That's right. So, that's all I got. I'm going to turn it over to Bones H. McCoy. And look forward to seeing y'all in the rising. Hey, don't forget. Go back to Ain't TV and finish looking at the receipts. I know some of y'all have only been 6 to 12 hours in. There's more. It gets more better. People start really showing their true colors. There's one more I gotta put in there. It's gonna be a doozy. But yeah, go back to Ain't TV and start looking at some more receipts and see who else make cameos up in there. People start telling on themselves. Say again.
Did you shout out to Pamela Hall?
Shout out to I didn't do a shout out to anybody. Man, let me go ahead and do a shout out to everybody right quick. My bad, y'all. We went in today. I'm gonna blame Bones.
Can't get right.
No, I'm not blaming Can't Get Right. I'm blaming Bones. Unless you call him Can't Get Right.
I was just saying you was taking the title from him.
Oh.
Hey, I'm used to it.
I know. Bones and them. So, shout out to Bones, Big Nelson, Big Hawk, Celestial Love, Copper Color Ancestor, David Corey. Shout out to EJ Coppertone. Shout out to Feather Dragon. Shout out to Joe 47. Shout out to Quixote. If I mispronounce it, please forgive me. You corrected me yesterday, but correct me again if I mispronounce it, Quixote. Shout out to Mason0911, aka Liz Robinson. Shout out to, he don't disappear. Shout out to Mr. TJ, Ratchet Man. Shout out to Oak Cliff, aka Reed. Reed Foreman. Shout out to Pamela Hall, aka my favorite foreman named Pamela Hall. Shout out to Phoenix Rose, aka Bing Rames. Shout out to Tiny 04044. I like saying that. Shout out to V Owens. Shout out to Golden Moon, aka KD. What it do, player? Speaking of player, shout out to Ohio player. Did I miss anybody? If I did, put it in the chat. Shout out to Michael Brown I forgot the other names you put in there.
Harris.
Yeah. Michael Brown, Harris Creek. What is it? MBHC. So again, don't forget to go to Ain't TV. As some people call it, the copycat network.
You forgot No Sellout, you forgot Copper Indio, and you forgot Doodoo Vision.
I stand corrected. That's why I'm having a seat. Shout out to Copper Indio. Shout out to No Sellout, aka Won't Get Right. Shout out to Doodle Vision, James Flame, aka Can't Get Right, got me in these meetings. So, is that all? Did I get everybody?
Seems about right.
Okay. All right, Bones H. McCoy, do what you do, bro. I'm relinquishing the mic.
No problem. Appreciate the panel. Thanks, TMH, Gabby, No Sellout, for doing everything that y'all do consistently every rising so the show can be what it is. Appreciate the chat, showing up, being active, so we can keep having these conversations for our embedment as we move through this. Thanks for the listeners that's taking in the information and applying it to their neighborhoods and researching it and seeing where do they fit in and how they can use it. And again, let's leave out with this. All the information and all the conversations that we have, one thing is always the same. The mechanisms to change our situation have always been here. We just have to start using them. And we have to make sure, moving forward, that as we build this, we make sure our best intentions are at mind. That we can't move forward with the same old cons and schemes and pay your way to success. No. We can't move forward with this me attitude. That it's going to take us building our industries together, building our communities together. And it has to be a start. If there's anything for us to be mad about, we should be mad that we spend so much time following on the foolishness and not researching the things that can help us and applying it. If we're going to be arguing and fighting, we should be arguing and fighting on why it's taking us so long to access funds to build shelters and educational institutions for our children and future generations. We have a voice, relatives, and it means something. Everybody else know it. It's just time for us to know it. So on that note, everybody keep having a very, very blissful day. Keep spreading the conversations. Keep learning the needs of your communities and realizing what you can do to benefit them now. And until the next Rising Show, peace.
Peace, y'all. Shout out to everybody.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.